Hey y'all, welcome to or welcome back to our very bookish channel, and welcome to another Freida McFadden reading vlog. It feels like it has been so long since I've read a Freida book. I love getting the Freida arcs and reading them before everyone else and giving you all a little bit of insight on them so that you can be excited for the books when they come out. But the downside is we have to wait so long to get another new Freida book. And fortunately, Freida likes to surprise drop books on her readers, especially short stories. Typically, I'm not a big short story girly. I don't think Jen is a fan of short stories either, but the Freida ones, you guys, the Freida ones are the best short stories I think that I've ever read. The Freida one she still gets enough in there. She still gets that big twist at the end. She still gets me, even with the short stories. So in today's video, I'm gonna be reading Death Row by Freida McFadden. Now this is book one of an Alibi collection. It is only available, as far as I can see, it's only available on the Kindle app or on Audible. So I'll be using my tablet today instead of my Kobo because I can't get this book onto the Kobo since it's done through Amazon Kindle. So I will be reading on this. So also in this video, we're going to be reading two of Freida's backlist books, The Devil in Scrubs and The Devil You Know. Then after those two books, the only backlist Freida book that I think we have left to read is Baby City. So we're very quickly running out of Freida books. So Freida, if you're watching this, please put out some more books. We love to read them and do these vlogs. So very excited for today. It just so happens too that today I have some free time. I am going to be going to the mall. There's some things that I need to shop for. So I will bring you all with me to the mall. And inside this mall is a Books A Million. So we're definitely gonna go to Books A Million, check out some of the books. And I am going to read Death Row. It's only 76 pages, I think. The ebook said 76 pages. So I should be able to just read it all in one sitting. If not in one sitting, then all definitely today. So we will get this book right. Then moving on to the other books in this vlog.
This is our new Freida vlog, and I ended up starting it early because I found out that through First Reads on Amazon, you get to choose books for free. I don't exactly know how it works, but I ended up being able to read Death Row by Freida early. It's supposed to come out June 1st, and today is May 5th, and I was able to read it. It is a novella, short story. It is very short, and as with most short stories that I read, I wanted more, but I feel of the short stories I've read, and a couple of those are actually from Freida. Of all the short stories I've read, this is the one on top. And maybe I just haven't read Freida in a while, and I feel she is a little bit on the addictive side sometimes, and I just needed a hit, but I gobbled it up. I read it very quickly. I thought it was well done. I felt it was different than a majority of her books. There's a couple that I felt like it was a little similar to, and yes, there are twists, and yes, I feel like there's hardly anything that I can say because it gives it away. It's one of those types of books that things aren't what they seem is all I'll say, because I even feel like that's a spoiler, and I just enjoyed it a lot. Me and Amanda, I don't know how she started off our Freida vlog, but we decided to do a couple books with the fact that Death Row is coming out. We are reading two other ones. So we're reading The Devil You Know and The Devil Wears Scrubs. And I'm forgetting which one is first. I thought it would list it on here, but I think one on Goodreads is listed as the first and the other one is listed as the second. I don't remember which, but I won't be reading these until the end of the month. We have a lot of other vlogs and things that are on tap for May, and we technically weren't going to be doing this one until the first week of June. But I couldn't help myself when it was available, and I went ahead and read it. And I wanted to record while I was still remembering it, and it was top of mind, and the excitement of a new Freida book. The other thing that's really, really exciting that she just announced, and I wanted to do some kind of short around it because I get so excited when she announces new books, but she has a new one coming out in October, and I'm really hoping that a digital arc, as soon as she sees it on Edelweiss, I will be running. She's really good at checking and seeing when it's on there, and she has helped us read The Tenant and The Crash really early, and I am hoping that the new one, which is called The Intruder, the most I know, I don't even know if I know really anything about it, but I love that with Freida. I would go into any of her books because just like Death Row, you go in thinking one thing, but a lot of other things can happen. You don't know what to expect when you go into a Freida book. I will be back in this video, I would say like 3 to 4 weeks from now, to go over the next 2 books. And she wrote these. These are like 2 of the first ones that she wrote. I will talk more about these when I'm reading them. So stay tuned. I'll be back.
Hey y'all, walking into the mall. It is getting hot. And you know, I used to love summer and the hot weather, but I really can't stand it anymore. The morning was nice and cool and a little bit rainy, but now it's just getting hot and muggy, and I don't like it. But let's get in here and see what books the Books A Million has. Was at the bookstore and I just thought, oh my gosh, I have read so many of these books, and quite a few of them we actually have vlogged or done a review on. So I don't know, that was cool. It was kind of like a light bulb moment for me. That's the first time I've gone into a bookstore and really thought about how many of those books that I have read and or discussed and talked about and vlogged or reviewed on the channel. That's crazy. I've really been able to read so many more books after starting this channel.
Turns out I got several things wrong in my last video. First of all, it isn't several weeks after I last recorded. That was just last week. And there's a big reason why I'm back. I originally said that this vlog would be 3 of Freida's books. We were celebrating the short story that she had out, that's Death Row, comes out June 1st. That was the intent. We got that early that I didn't expect to get early through Amazon's First Reads. And she being Freida, announced that she has a new book coming out in October, and it's called The Intruder. I so wanted to get an arc of that because, of course, I can't ever wait. As soon as I hear she has a new book out, I want to read it. It's hard to wait. I don't feel very patient in general, but especially not patient for Freida. And Amanda always has the magic of looking at Edelweiss and making sure she's checking to see if it was there. And we got it. I am beside myself. I cannot believe that we got it. I've already 50 pages in because of course I couldn't refrain from reading this. Even though we have other vlogs we need to do, other book reviews we need to do, I can't wait. I'm gonna be sad when it's done because this doesn't even come out to October. God knows when she's going to announce another one, though everyone keeps giving her a hard time and saying she is putting these out so quickly, pretty much calling her like AI and, you know, all kinds of things. But I am already sucked in. Brief description is you are mostly seeing Casey. There is another narrative that you're getting that says before, and that one's from Ella. And she seems to be a young girl, and I think she ends up with Casey. Casey, you're seeing as she is at some kind of rundown house. It's in the Northeast, in the woods, and a huge storm is coming. And you're getting pieces of her life, and then you're also getting pieces of Ella. And I'm sure the two worlds collide. There are some other characters you're being introduced to that I'm sure will be part of some twists and turns along the way. I am already getting into this. As much as I won't want it to end, it will end, but I will be back with more thoughts on The Intruder, which doesn't seem like real life that we have this. And then we have 2 other Freida books we're gonna do for this vlog. I might actually wait for those until later in the month, but as I read this one, I'm sure it'll only be a few days. I do work the next couple of days, but I'm sure it'll only be a few days. I will let you know my thoughts. I will be back. And I can't believe we have it. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. All right, I'm going to read.
All right, y'all. Yesterday, I did finish Death Row, and I really enjoyed the book. I was sucked in to this book. I could not stop reading it. I think I read it in less than an hour. I didn't time myself, so I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I read it in less than an hour. I just devoured this book, and I was really, really enjoying the whole thing up until the end. I was just not a fan of the twist. It's not a bad twist. It's not a bad ending, but I'm just not a fan of that kind of twist. If you read it, if you know, you know, okay? You have to read it to know what I'm talking about. But overall, though, 3 stars. I really enjoyed the book. I think if you're looking for a very fast, quick, one-sitting read, I highly recommend Freida always. So I am going to be moving on and reading The Devil Wears Scrubs. Okay, so the next 2 books I'm going to read is The Devil Wears Scrubs and The Devil You Know. And so far, I think it's just a duology. I know there's 2 books, and I have not heard anything about another book in the series. Freida's not a real big fan of series, so I don't think she's planning on writing anymore. So I'm just gonna read this duology, and then after I read these books, the only other backlist Freida book I'm gonna have is Baby City. And it makes me sad I'm running out of Freida books because I just sometimes want her writing. I want her books. I need that kind of fast-paced, twisty-turny thriller, and it makes me sad that I'm running out of her backlist. But I know she's going to be putting out more books, so there will definitely be more vlogs from us in the future reading her books. So I am highly anticipating all the other books she's going to be coming out with in her writing career. I know there's like so many more stories in her. So I'm really sad that I'm running out of books, but excited for what she's going to come up with next. All right, so I'm just gonna start reading The Devil You Know, and I will update y'all when I have something to talk about.
Typically, I would be done with Freida by now because it's been a few days, but I haven't had as much time to read, and there have been other things we've been doing, and I just haven't had time to read. Just is what it is. Sometimes I go through spurts where we're doing other things like watching movies, or we've had to go visit family. So I usually only have like right before I go to bed to read, and sometimes that's just not a lot of time. I did get a chunk read before I went to bed last night, and I've read a little bit so far, and I thought I should do an update because I'm at that point in a Freida book where you've been given a lot of information and you know the characters kind of well, and you start to formulate opinions. And I've had an opinion for a little bit now that I think I know one of the plot points of what's gonna happen. I don't know if I'm right, we'll see. I'm not gonna say what it is, obviously, because I don't want to do spoilers. And you also realize that you don't really know the two main characters, which are Ella/Eleanor, and I don't even know if they are the same. I feel like you're being led to think they're the same. And also Casey, you don't really know much. You get little breadcrumbs, and that's when people tend to, I think, jump to conclusions as to what they think is going to happen. But I think we're going to get a big dose of plot twists of who these people really are towards the end. But I don't know exactly what that's going to mean. It's not the plot point I'm guessing right now. That's where I am, and I do like the relationship that has blossomed between Ella and Anton. You're getting, it's the before parts where Ella is this 12-year-old, 13-year-old going through just typical school, very uncomfortable situations, social anxiety, but her life at home is horrible. And it's one of those situations that Freida really overly explains and describes in detail just how bad it is. It makes you feel bad for her, and you can't believe that that situation really exists, but I know in real life things like that do exist, and I don't know how that's going to fit into what you're seeing as the current day situation, and if she is the same person as Eleanor. So we'll see. I will give you guys an update when I get to some plot twists. I'm not going to be reading much more tonight, and I work tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure we're doing something the day after that, so I'm not sure how much more time I'm going to be able to read. I'll be back with more thoughts when I get time to read.
Hey y'all, I have some fantastic news. Jen found out that Freida McFadden was going to be releasing a new thriller book, I believe in October. And as soon as she told me, of course, I had to check around. I checked on Edelweiss and NetGalley, and we were able to get an early copy. So excited. So excited. So we weren't planning on including that in this vlog, but it just so happened to work out for us, and we are going to be reading The Intruder for y'all in addition to Death Row, The Devil in Scrubs, and The Devil You Know. So excited. We've been so lucky to get her arcs, and I just hope that they keep coming because I enjoy reading her books so much. So I cannot wait to dive into this one. But before we do that, I am going to get my hair cut today. Nothing crazy. I'm still going to keep it long, although I do have like a tendency of once a year, usually like October, I cut my hair off to my shoulders and then grow it long, and then next October cut it off to my shoulders. But last year I didn't do that, and I think this year I'm still gonna keep it long. I think I'm gonna keep it long. I just want to get some layers and stuff put in it. So I am going to get a haircut, so the next time y'all see me, my hair will be looking a little bit different. Alright y'all, just so you can see, nothing crazy done to my hair. It's still long, just got some layers, got it trimmed up, some of the dead ends cut off, but this is the haircut. All right, y'all, I have made it to 47% in, and I'm actually mid-chapter right now. I had to stop mid-chapter, and I know that that bothers some people, but it doesn't bother me. I can stop mid-chapter. I just was getting tired when I was reading and had to just turn it off. But I am 47% in, like I said. I'm on page 120 of 255 of the ebook, and it looks like for real pages of the book, I'm on page 126. So just a reference of where I'm at. And I'm really, really liking the book so far. It does something that I don't normally like. It jumps back in the timeline. But I'm not minding it in this book. I don't know if it's the writing. I don't know if it's the story that's unfolding and being told, but I'm actually really liking both storylines. So in the present day storyline, you're following Casey, and Casey is a woman who was a teacher. Something happened, we don't know, and she is no longer teaching, and she moved out to be off grid. Not exactly like camping in a tent off grid. She has a cabin that she's renting, and it's a really shabby cabin. She doesn't have a TV. She doesn't have a cell phone. She basically just has lots of books that she reads, and she tries to fix the cabin up a little bit since it's like a shack. It's falling apart. The landlord's not the greatest. So she's living out in this wilderness in this cabin all alone. There is a neighbor that I think she said is a half a mile up the road, and he comes by and checks in on her every now and then, but it's sort of a creepy vibe. It's sort of a stranded in the middle of the woods in a log cabin, seeing faces in the dark outside your window, kind of creepy vibe. And then the past timeline, you're following a young girl named Ella, and Ella lives in a hoarder's house. She lives with her mom. Her mom is a hoarder. Her mom is not very clean. Her mom is borderline neglectful and slightly abusive. Ella doesn't have clean clothes because the washing machine is broke and her mom won't get the washing machine fixed. So she goes to school stinking and she gets picked on. So you're just following her in her day-to-day life. And both stories, I don't know how they're gonna merge, but they are both equally interesting to me, and I'm enjoying both of them. The book is reading very fast, like a typical Freida McFadden thriller, and I'm just having a good time. And I do have a couple of hours to read today, so I'm really hoping in the next couple of hours I'll be able to finish the whole thing and then follow up with you with some final thoughts.
Okay, so I definitely didn't see that coming. What? Alright, I'm getting some reading done before I go to work because I couldn't put it down last night and I don't have much more to read. Of course, the plot twisted and I didn't guess this one. I had a feeling, but I didn't fully think like, yes, it's this. I did feel there was a possibility. And then the other thing that I was guessing and thought, okay, this is probably what's going to happen, that seemingly has come true, kind of. Again, it's a Freida way. So obviously I can't say because it's giving away all the details, but I only have, I think, 30 pages left, which really makes me want to just tell work that I'm going to be late and finish it. Have you guys ever done that? All right, I'm gonna get back to reading before I run out of time. I actually finished it before I went to work, and wow. This one was really, really, really good. I love it so much, and I'm just trying to process everything that happened at the end because obviously there were several twists, so I'm gonna think on it. I'll share everything at final thoughts. I'm just really glad I got to finish it before work. Okay, I'll be back.
All right, y'all, I finished The Intruder and I loved that book. I think it's one of Freida's best. I am so anxious because I want y'all to read it so bad, and you can't read it until October, but oh my gosh, it's so good. I also think it's one Jen's gonna like, so I'm very curious to see what Jen thinks when she finishes it because oh my gosh, I thought it was so good. And also, I was able to find The Devil in Scrubs and The Devil You Know via audiobook on Libby. So I'm going to be listening to the audiobook. That's not really my preferred way to read a book, but it's either that or buy the ebooks on Amazon, and I don't want to buy the ebooks on Amazon. Sorry, y'all. There's an ambulance just flying by, so sorry about that. But yeah, so I'm going to be listening to them, and I will just give you all updates so when I get to it.
Back with another update. I am starting The Devil Wears Scrubs by Freida. These are some of the older books, the first ones that she wrote. And it was back when she did a lot more shifts as a doctor, brain surgeon. I don't know exactly what she did, but I'm pretty sure she was a brain surgeon. She doesn't do it as much anymore because she's been focusing so much on her writing career, and I can't blame her because she has really taken off. And I did start this one. I really am getting the vibes that she is taking what I'm reading and it's from her experiences as a doctor. I don't know if this is gonna read or be thriller, but I'm just kind of enjoying it right now because I feel like I'm getting a glimpse into Freida's life and what she did as a doctor. So that's the reason why I'm enjoying it right now. But I will be back when I have some updates and any more thoughts as I get deeper into this one. I don't think it's gonna take me that long because it is super thin. So, and I only got through 2 chapters right now. I'll be back with more thoughts as soon as something exciting happens. All right, I am about halfway through and I didn't really pay attention to what the book was about. I like to go into Freida's not knowing what it's about because it's usually fun that way. Sometimes I know a little bit about it. But since I did that, I realized, and I kind of remember at some point realizing it may not be a thriller or a typical book from her, and it definitely is not. And I think that's why people are giving her lower scores on this, because I think they're expecting something along the lines of like The Housemaid. And I was a Grey's Anatomy fan, the show, the TV show. It's very much giving Grey's Anatomy. I know it is based on her experiences. I don't think it's exactly what she went through, but I'm pretty sure she used a lot of her medical background and what she went through going to medical school and being a resident, she used in this book. I am loving the humor the most, and I am a little let down it's not a thriller, but once I realized that she originally started her career, I think, with these books where she was just getting used to writing. And I feel like it has a lot of hallmarks of what you see in her later books, where it's like conversational and the main character is giving you all their inner monologue of observations and things they're thinking about. So I feel like it still feels like Freida. It's just definitely nothing in the murder realm or anything. And I know I'm only halfway through, but I'm pretty sure nothing's gonna happen like that. But I will be back with more thoughts. It's going very fast, so I don't anticipate it taking much longer, but I will let you guys know more thoughts in a few.
All right, y'all, I finished The Devil in Scrubs yesterday. The audiobook was so short. The audiobook is only 7 hours long on 1x speed, and I typically listen to my audiobooks on 2 or 2.5 times speed. Sometimes I slow them down like 1.75 or even 1.5 if it's like a very complicated fantasy novel or something, or depending on the narrator and how fast they're reading. But wow, I just finished that whole audiobook yesterday. It was fun. I mean, I listened to it while I was driving and while I was doing chores and cooking dinner and doing stuff around my house, and it was a fun book. It was not a thriller. It definitely was not a thriller, I would say. You're following a young woman who is a new doctor, and she is hired as an intern at a hospital to kind of learn the ropes and get her feet on the ground working underneath other doctors. And you're just going through her day-to-day life at the hospital, her interactions with some patients, her interactions with some employees, and her interactions with Sexy Surgeon, who is a doctor at the hospital, and you know, everyone thinks that he's just so hot. And it was a fun time. It was good. It's just general fiction, I would say. But I'm telling you, like, Freida can just write these stories, and even though I'm not a fan of general fiction, I'm usually bored with just general fiction, she just spins a story and she injects humor, and then she injects like lots of things happening and going on. Like, she just injects little elements that can hold my attention, and I enjoyed it. I am gonna jump right on in to the next audiobook, which is The Devil You Know, and that audiobook is also only 7 hours long, so I'm hoping maybe I can finish it today. I do have a busy day today, but I am hoping that I can maybe finish the audiobook today and then have a full wrap up with all of the books. 4. I think this is our biggest. I don't know if we've read 4 in a Freida vlog before. We only had planned 3, but then we got that surprise arc of the Intruder. So yeah, 4. Hopefully I will be able to listen to it. I don't think there's going to be a lot of updating I'm going to be able to give you, because if this next book is like The Devil in Scrubs, then there's really not much updating I can do. There's really not much like I can say about the book without giving away spoilers, because you're just kind of following this woman through her day. So I don't know if I'll be able to give update, but if I finish it all in one day, which I'm hoping I'll have time to do today, then I will be back with final thoughts and discuss all of the books.
All right, I finished, and I liked that more than I thought I would for not being a thriller. And I think I was just appreciating seeing where Freida started. I did look it up. This is her very first book. So it was like a practice book, I think. It's where she was learning her craft. We wouldn't have all of those thrillers without her writing this. So I am deeply appreciative that she wrote this so that she was learning what she wanted to do in the books and the voice that she was writing. The next one, The Devil You Know, is the sequel. So she wrote this one in 2013, and The Devil You Know, it was published in 2017, and she self-published at that point, I think, going through Amazon. I don't know that part. But what's funny is in the acknowledgments of this one, and I was saying how she had based this on her career, and she pretty much says so in the acknowledgments. And she even says, and finally, I want to thank the real Dr. Alyssa Morgan for being such a big bitch that I had to write a whole book to complain about you. So I'm looking forward to see where these characters end up in the future. I will report back after I get some read and let you guys know how I'm feeling about it. All right, I'm about halfway into this book. I'm not enjoying this one as much as I was The Devil Wears Scrubs. This one is when it's like 8 to 10 years later. It's the same narrator and protagonist of The Devil Wears Scrubs. And it's following her as she is a doctor at Veterans Hospital, and she's married, she has a daughter, but I feel like she just complains a lot. She is just over having fights with her husband and being a mom and having a full-time job. And it's a lot of that. But I also can see Freida's voice is stronger. She's had more experience because she wrote this in 2017. And she's already had a few books under her belt. I believe this one was after The X, which is still my favorite one, even though it's kind of tied with The Intruder now. So I just feel like there's a lot of complaining. I'm going to finish this and then I will get to final thoughts, because I feel this vlog is going to be very, very long. We've read a lot of books in this vlog, but I will be back. I am not going to react unless there's something really crazy, but I will see you at final thoughts.
All right, y'all, we did it. We finished our 10th Freida reading vlog. I read Death Row, which is a novella just released. I read The Intruder because we got surprised with the ARC from Edelweiss. That book comes out in October. And then I read The Devil in Scrubs and The Devil You Know through audiobook. The Devil in Scrubs, Devil in Scrubs and The Devil You Know, I only could get through Libby audiobook, so I listened to them. They are very short audiobooks. So, I highly recommend those if you're in the mood for something that you can just listen to quickly, and you could actually listen to them back to back. It's kind of one long story. With Freida's writing and the way that she tells stories, she has ways of injecting humor through either dialogue or through situations the character's in, and that just kept the books entertaining for me. Even though I felt like, where's the plot going with this book? I had no idea, but it just was entertaining because of the way that Freida writes and injects humor, and there's constantly things going on to keep your attention, even if it feels like you're just following someone's daily life. So I did enjoy those, and I do recommend them, but they're just not her grippy, dark thriller type books. The Intruder, y'all. I don't think I talked a lot about The Intruder, but oh my gosh, you guys, that book is so good. It is dark, twisty thriller to a T. The ending is just so amazing. I was so satisfied with the ending. The twist, I don't want to say they're predictable, but I don't know. They're not predictable, but they're not predictable at the same time. Like, I wasn't trying to even predict this book. I was just flipping pages or reading the story. I was just gobbling the story up. I wasn't even trying to think about how the present timeline and the past timeline are related. So very, very good. Highly, highly recommend that book. Put that on your radar for sure when it comes out in October.
We have made it to the end of another Freida vlog. I don't even remember what number vlog we are on. She has so many books, and sadly, we have also reached the end of what we could read with Freida, except for one. And that's a sad fact. Freida, I'm sure, will keep writing. There will be more. There is no doubt about that. It's just going to probably be a while. So the 4 books that we read in this vlog that you've seen us go through, and what's funny is June 1st is just a couple days away, and that's when her novella or short story, I don't know which she's calling it, but it's short, Death Row comes out, and it is accessible for those that have Amazon, and you can do it as a first read, which I did. And when we originally planned this, we thought we were going to get it on June 1st, and then we were going to read it and then post shortly thereafter and read these 2 books for the same vlog. And as you guys saw, we were able to get The Intruder. So for this vlog, I feel like it was balanced because we had 2 of Freida's thrillers that I loved both of them. I loved them so much. I enjoyed Death Row and The Intruder. The Intruder is now officially tied with The X as #1. So I'm sorry that you guys can't get it unless you go to Edelweiss, unless you sign up for Edelweiss, or I don't think it's on NetGalley, but I would suggest you guys go to NetGalley and Edelweiss and sign up, because I'm pretty sure anyone can sign up. I don't know what kind of limitations. I've been on it for a while now. I don't know if the parameters are all the same, and I think you get more and more access as you rate books and write reviews on there. The whole point is so that that community is reviewing books and they get buzz going, and they share that with the readers so that people want to buy these books when they come out. Maybe Amanda can put the links in this video so that you guys know what we're talking about when we talk about Edelweiss and NetGalley if you're not familiar. One of the parts that I don't really like about it is I'm not a big fan of reading on my tablet. I don't like e-readers or a tablet as much as a physical book. But I do sacrifice because there are so many books I want to read, and they're available as an electronic advanced reading copy, so obviously I plow through and I deal with it. So as I told you, I really loved both thrillers, the novella and The Intruder, which is the book coming out in October. And these, I didn't know what to expect. Part of me thought that this might be a thriller or kind of in the ballpark of a thriller. It is her very first book she ever wrote. And I feel that makes me feel a little differently about it because I'm sure this was her baby. She wanted to do a really good job with it. She was starting out. You can hear Freida's voice in here, and she's finding her way. I enjoyed this more than I thought I would for not being a thriller, because it is not a thriller in any way, shape, or form. It is definitely based on her career as she was going through medical school, and she ended up working as, I believe, a brain surgeon, but I don't know her whole medical career. She's very private with her personal life, so there's details she doesn't share. And most of this I know just from interviews and seeing what she talks about on Facebook in her Facebook McFans group. This one is a follow-up to this one with Jane, and I just finished it. I didn't like it as much. I just felt like there was a lot of whining, tension, and a lot of like negativity, and it's basically a woman going through a crisis because her marriage isn't as strong as it once was due to the pressures of jobs and having a child. And so a lot of that, I mean, I've read that in many, many, many novels. I don't feel like she was doing anything new with it. And then Jane is enticed by the same guy that's in this book. He shows up at the hospital where she's working. I feel like some of it was interesting. It's not like it was a 2 or 1 book. I would actually give it like a 3.5 stars. There are some books by Freida, I would even put this above it just because I didn't like Do Not Disturb. It's a thriller of hers. I just felt like there were some plot holes in that one. So if I had to choose what is my least favorite Freida, it would probably be Do Not Disturb. If you want some fiction and see Freida starting out, she wrote this one in 2017. This one was 2013. When I say wrote it, I mean published, because I think she was writing for many years before that. And you can tell she probably had her kids when they were little for this one and was inspired again by her real life. Obviously, I really love Freida's books. I know that a lot of people give her a hard time for, as they can see, publishing a lot of books at once. And I think a lot of people give her a hard time for her writing because she just posted actually on Facebook addressing a rumor that when she's writing, she is thinking of a YA audience, and kind of her writing is not dumbed down, but like a younger writing style. And she said that's not true. She never said that. She doesn't know why it started. And it kind of makes me feel bad for her because I think what they're trying to say, this rumor, is that her writing is very simplistic and it's for a younger audience. And yes, it's not Hemingway, it's not Shakespeare, it's not anything highbrow, but I think that's why she's so popular, is because it's very consumable. It's very easy to read her books. And to me, there's nothing wrong with that. If anything, a lot of times when I am working, that's what I want to read. I don't want to read things that where I'm using so much brain power that I need to figure out who is who and what are they really trying to say and what is the subtext. Like a lot of that I loved in college because that's what I was studying. But as you get older, I feel like your reading tastes change, and I feel books like Freida's feels good to read because it is a lot easier to read. But I don't feel like it's YA. I feel like she just makes it accessible. I feel like her writing is accessible, is what I would call it. Me and Amanda both love Freida. I know Amanda loved The Intruder as well. I don't know if I know her thoughts on Death Row. I don't think she said anything to me about that one. We were definitely talking about The Intruder. And I'm not sure how she felt about this. I have a feeling she probably didn't like it because she's not a fan of general fiction, and I would put this as almost like general fiction. I don't know if she's ever going to republish these. I think she has plans to republish everything that she originally wrote, and she's been changing things along the way, which kind of makes me want to reread some of them. I think when she re-releases The X, I might read it again. I don't know. I'm on the fence. That might be a new idea for us to do with Freida when we need more Freida to read, is to reread them as she's re-releasing them, because she is tweaking things. And she did clarify, because people were asking her, should I worry about reading it all over again? She doesn't feel like she changed a whole lot. It was just little editing things that bothered her as she perfected her craft and got better at writing. She felt there were things that, oh, I wish I could have done this instead in whatever book. And I think she just wants to do it for herself more than anything as she's releasing these widely with her publisher. And the lone book that we have not read, and I think it's going to be very similar to these, is Baby City, because it's about a doctor specifically working in a maternity ward, I think. The top of this says, there are only 3 things in this world that are certain: death, taxes, and babies. I don't know. It's kind of a weird topic for Freida, so I don't know how this one's gonna go. We should just do a vlog just on this one. I highly, highly, highly suggest all of Freida's new ones. Death Row will be out by the time we get this video out into the world. It is short. It's like a novella, a short story. It's not meant to be a long book. It is available, I believe, through Amazon and Audible. I did pre-order Audible, and I don't think you can cancel that, so I am gonna have it on Audible. Maybe I'll listen to it too, just to listen to it again, because it's short. Thanks so much for watching as we read 4 Freida books. If you haven't watched our other Freida vlogs, we have many to choose from. If you're just discovering Freida, congratulations, and I am envious of you because we are running out of Freida books. But enjoy. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time.